once again here at the East Bay Card Show. Really good show. Has a little of everything, but a lot of vintage stuff for vintage collectors. Northern California, to me, this is as good a show as we have. So I'm gonna head inside, see what we got, see if there are any new dealers, see what other stuff is in there. Looking forward to it. All right, so in I go to the show. And this is part of the room. It kind of wraps around the corner there, as you can see in this section here. There's also a second room that was partially filled as well. And I went on Sunday. It was actually my wife's birthday on Saturday. So I went on Sunday, and it was much less crowded in the morning. Although I did get there right when it opened. I got there right at 10. And I stayed until about 1:30 or so. So I spent about 3.5 hours in the show. And a really good mix at this show of modern and vintage stuff. This particular dealer always has tons of high-end modern and vintage. Some really good stuff in this case. A lot of Hank Aaron's, a lot of Mantles. It's my buddy Scott. He lots of Willie Mays cards.
Some people think they have.
You can see the Mantles there as well.
I've heard a lot of people say that
a lot
that's
of
why their grading standards
Clementes and some T206s, some 53 Bowman colors. Scott's always got good prices. He's always got some cool value boxes. So I was flipping through this particular one. A lot of mostly vintage baseball, but he does have some other stuff as well. Some 71. So you know, this little section here is some early to mid 70s, I guess, and then you can see some 50s sprinkled in as well.
If I'm being totally honest, that might make me think it's more likely to be authentic, because nobody would rewrap it off like that and then try to.
We were having a conversation with a guy who came up to his table about how he had a 86 Fleer basketball pack that he said he bought in 1988. And we were talking about whether or not it was legit or not. It's hard to buy something like that, spend that kind of money, and not know if it is legit or not. But as I'm going through these, there's some nice cards. 75 Steve Carlton Mini. You know, some nice 60s in here. And he's got stars, and he's got some minor stars. Cool mini Minoso there.
Yeah, they're all B, so they're all going to be like lower grades. We were just talking about it.
Yeah.
I pretty much always go through his value box and hope that he's got something that catches my eye. I've bought stuff from him in the past.
He won't lead you astray.
I was telling the guy who came up to the table that Scott's a good guy. He's trustworthy, good person to sell to. Got a couple Jim Rice rookies there, Eddie Murray, and then this Eckersley caught my eye.
Right.
So did this Blylev, and I pulled the Eckersley out. So I love sending out through the mail autographs, and Eckersley is one that still is signing. This Munson caught my eye too. Really cool looking card, really well centered. But Eckersley still signs through the mail. I think he charges a $10 donation to his foundation. And I've been kind of looking for his rookie card in decent condition. Doesn't have to be perfect. He was asking $14 for this one.
Depends. Will you give me 10 for this? Okay.
So he sold that to me for $10. I will be sending it off to Eckersley through the mail, hoping it will come back signed.
He'll look it up for you. He'll tell you what it's worth, and he'll tell you the percentage.
It's about what they go for.
So
You
wanna go
know,
a guy with this,
nicer
you wanna
ones are
go-
15 to
you gotta be
17.
very careful. You
Scott
might
sent
have
it
a
to me,
lot
sold it to me
and
for
then not
10,
get
which
what-
was
what
a
it's
nice
worth.
little deal. You can see a better look at it. You know, it's a little off center. There's a little bit of printer marks at the very bottom. But again, I'm looking to get it signed through the mail. If you're interested in reaching out to Scott, here is his information. Again, he is a local Northern California guy. His case was loaded with a variety of different things. You see the Bob Gibson rookie up there, all the way to Ken Griffey Jr., cool little Cinder card. Really nice Ozzie Smith rookie back in that last case. And then this case was mostly raw stuff.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Been doing good today? Sweet.
Today's
Normal,
a little
average?
slower. It's
Yeah.
a little slower than yesterday. Yesterday was good.
This guy always has really nice stuff, and then also has a lot of bargain bins too. Nice Mazeroski rookie. Cool Clemente there. I always like looking through the autograph cases because a lot of the times you'll find some vintage players autographed newer cards, which is a cool mix for me. I like collecting the vintage guys, but a modern card signed by a vintage Hall of Famer is always something that I have my eye out for. Ended up going through this value box of lots of autographs, and this Fran Tarkington jumped out at me. Speaking of Hall of Famer autographs on modern cards, he was asking $45, which seemed like a very reasonable price. Those Hall of Fame inserts in Immaculate go for a fair amount. Fran Tarkington's not a huge name, but was quite the passer and obviously a Hall of Famer. So I kept going through the box a little bit more, seeing what else jumped out. There's a Len Dawson 1/1 autograph, but I wasn't in the market of spending $400 on that. This dealer was already packing up early. I think it was kind of slow for him.
Would you do 30 on one of these?
No, do 35.
So he was asking 45. I offered him 30,
There's
and
40 if he's got a 5.
he took 35 for it. Now, it comped recently
Thank you.
for $92. So 35 seems like a really good deal to me. Again, this is probably going to go into my personal collection. I like to collect autographs like this. He had 2 of them, and he was packing up early, so I decided to give it a try. And again, I thought 45 was more than fair. I offered him 30 as he was leaving early, thinking maybe just on the way out the door he'd do it, so 35 was a good deal. Another case with a hodgepodge of newer and vintage stuff. This dealer's at a lot of shows. He's always got a really wide selection of vintage cards. His prices on the sticker are always a little high, but I've seen him do deals in the past, and he usually comes down quite a bit. So I guess he just starts with a high starting point. A lot of his stuff was raw. A lot of stuff at this show was raw. So if you're into raw cards, this is one to check out. Got several Nolan Ryans there, a couple Yastrzemskis. Really nice case. Now this is the dealer that I bought that Ted Williams from in a 3.5 a few weeks ago. He also had a case of raw cards that were really nice. That Willie Mays there in the middle caught my eye. Then up at the top, just out of view right now, there were several all-star cards of Mays and Mantle and Maris. Also a Hank Aaron. But really nice raw stuff. You can see his information there on your screen if you're interested in reaching out to him. Craig always has very fair prices. He's a good guy. So we got some Nolan Ryans there. In that case, several Nolan Ryans, some Mantles, Clemente. But I was most interested at those. They're the all-star cards at the top there. I just did a video on all-star cards and how I think they're a great value to buy some of those superstars of the 60s. So this is a case of Steph Curry stuff. This guy had tons of high-end modern stuff and then also some vintage cards. But check out this row of Jordan rookies. My goodness. The amount of money in Jordan rookies alone was impressive there. So I went back over to look at those cards in that previous case.
74 Ryan is really nice too. Like in here, like what would be on my list if I need to find cards? So what's on my list is the Ford.
Can I take one more look at these two stacks?
Yeah, of course.
So I had a pile working, hoping for a bigger group deal.
Oh, yeah.
So I had pulled out a 60 Mantle All-Star, 60 Aaron All-Star, a 59 Mays All-Star, and then that card that's actually the last Willie Mays card in a Giants uniform were the ones I had pulled out at that moment. But I was going back to his raw stuff. This Seaver was in really good shape. Gave that one a long look. But again, really nice raw stuff, and the prices were very, very fair. I gave this Carlton Fisk rookie a long look. He was asking $35 on it, which seemed fair. It was in good shape, but not great shape, so I ended up passing on it. But I was kind of in my head at this moment trying to calculate out what a fair offer would be on the cards I had pulled out. And really hoping to make a deal for some of these raw cards because I thought they were nice. Really nice Richie Allen there. So he had a couple Mantle All-Stars. The one you see there was a little too off-center for me, so I ended up passing on that one, but I was mostly interested in the other one, which you'll see here in a sec.
These, I'm good on these. I'm good on this. These, I'm still, my wheels are turning on.
Yeah. You're in here?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, sure. That's what I'm looking like. It might be, but if I do good.
So this is the 60 Aaron I liked a lot.
$5-10 extra, but if I do good, there's like $25-30 extra. So that's why.
Yeah.
That's why it's on the fence, you know.
So those are the 4 cards that I'm focused on.
So you're at 210 on these 4. They don't have a wrinkle in them, do they? But I'm not
that I know of.
It's interesting because the one I like the best is this one.
Yeah.
And these I would be interested in depending on the price of them.
Okay.
So, so you're asking 210. So, what do you think?
So usually I'd say, well, hey, let's do 10% off. That'd be $190, but you're buying multiple cards.
Right.
So I'll do $180. Leaves you room if you're gonna grade some stuff, and it leaves me some room, you know, make a little profit.
And what if I took this out? What if I just did these three?
Gotcha.
So I asked him what if I didn't include the 59 Maze All-Star.
$140?
Okay, so this is basically $40 is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
What about 170?
Sure.
All right, cool.
So I thought that was a super fair deal. 170 for those four.
It'll be interesting. I don't know.
Hard to
if I'll
comp
grade these or
cards
not.
like
I
this
might just
because
leave them.
it's all condition based on
The
raw.
Maze try.
So, you know, there's sort of a
Yeah.
variety of what they comp out at.
You know, 5's good, but if
None of them had wrinkles. All were in pretty darn good shape, really. Centering wasn't perfect, but that maze you see on the right of your screen there was really well centered. The others, you know, weren't perfect, but they're still really nice cards. These are, you know, 60-year-old cards.
like 80 to $90 for a 6.
So I'll give you a closer look at them here in just a second as we were finalizing our deal.
Yeah, I do too.
Again, Craig's a good guy. If you're interested, reach out to him.
Looks like we're good.
All right, cool.
Appreciate it, man.
I appreciate the deal, man.
Here's his information, kind of what he's looking for. So here's the 59 Maze All-Star. You could see side to side, you know, is the biggest issue, but it's not awful. And then this one, this is a beauty. He was telling me he really thinks that this is at least a 6. He almost submitted it. And then you can see the rough cut on the 60 Mantle All-Star. Other than the rough cut, and, you know, centering a little bit too, but I thought it was pretty nice. And the Aaron is also really nice. Very clean cards, not a lot of printer marks. I like them a lot. Just going through this value box and spent some time in it. And funny enough, you'll see here in a second, at the very, very end, I found a couple of cards that the Yankee fan in me had to have. So a Bernie Williams autograph he was asking 15 for, and then this Tino Martinez he was asking 7 for. So he was asking 22 for the two of them. And you don't see those guys sign very often, so I was really interested.
You do 15 for both of those? I'm a Yankee fan.
I already knocked him down this morning, so what is it, 15 and 7? So I'd give 20.
So he came back at me with 20 for the two of them. You can see the Tino recently sold for 26 and the Bernie for 18.
Let me see if there's something else I can find in here to make it work.
I looked through his box again and
Good, how are you?
just decided I'd do his 20. It was a fair
All right,
deal.
there you go.
And again, about $45 in comps for 20 bucks. And again, Yankee fan, you know, Bernie was a staple through the dynasty years. Beautiful autograph there. Out of 80 numbered. And then this Tino. Again, neither one of these guys sign a ton. The Tino is out of 200. All right, so that is a wrap at the East Bay Card Show. Again, if you're in Northern California, if you're in the Bay Area, you've got to hit this show. It is a really good one. A big variety of vintage stuff and modern stuff. So come check it out if you haven't. I will give you the information for the next one coming up here on your screen right now. So you can see on your screen the next time this is happening is June 24th and 25th. Again, it is in Concord, California, which is the East Bay area of the San Francisco Bay Area. Thank you so much for watching. Which deal did you like the best? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch and check this out.